Hello.
Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's that?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Welcome, horror girls and horror boys. We're going to talk art stuff today. On tonight's episode, The Final Guys, I'm your host, the Magic Hunter. I'm joined by Jack Campisi.
You look marvelous.
And Jason Brant.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
what I assume, like an art schmuck, how they would talk. Anyway, the reason I'm talking this stupidly is because we are going to discuss a movie that will make you question everything you've done in life and say, what the hell am I watching? Called Velvet Buzzsaw, which I keep wanting to call Satin Chainsaw for whatever reason.
Made me question this podcast.
Made me question a lot of things. And I live with a wife who questions movies, even very distinct movies, and she'll make about 100 questions a movie. This were so many, she short-circuited and fell asleep. So...
My wife was pissed off when this was over. She was not happy that I made her watch this.
Although I got to say, my wife said, she goes, oh, well, she likes Jake Gyllenhaal. So that was the whole appeal for her. But before we get into this, every week we have drinking games. Today, Jason is actually drinking.
That's correct.
So who was going to do the drinking rules?
I got him. All right. First up, Jack, your words are Gyllenhaal, Russo, and things. Hunter, yours are Long, Art, and Colette. And mine are Kill, Satire, and Critic. And the bonus words are Netflix, Profit, and Robot.
Robot? Whatever. Sure. Oh, yeah. It was a cool robot.
Duh.
Drink. So, Jack, there's been a lot of news this last week. So I want to hear what you've cherry-picked as the creme of the crop.
Well, I don't know if creme of the crop is quite right as the first three things I found.
What about creme fraiche?
Creme fraiche. The first cream is, I wanted to continue the streak of Lee Whannell news. Last week we reported that he was going to be redoing Invisible Man for the new Blumhouse seizure of the Dark Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Now it comes to light that he is writing and possibly directing Escape from New York remake.
I hope they put Kurt Russell's son in it. That's the only way it's going to work for me.
I think that's how a lot of people are going to feel. Is like, don't do it unless you do that.
Who could be Ernest Borgnine? Wilfred Brimley. Hey, I know you. You're Snake Plissken.
I'll only be happy if they take the surfboarding scene from the second one and put it in the remake of this one, because that was beautiful.
Was he surfing against like Peter Fonda?
Yeah.
Yeah, he surfed faster than someone was driving their car.
Yeah, well,
I remember seeing that in the theater, and when that was happening, I'm just like, okay, I think I have to come to grips with the fact that this movie sucks.
Yeah, as much as I don't want to admit it, this is a turd.
Oh, God damn it.
A lot of Steve Buscemi in that movie.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
too much.
They're saying it's going to retain a lot of elements of the original, but it's going to bring new ideas to the table. It wants to avoid going down the path that killed other 80s reboots like RoboCop and Total Recall, where they just kind of rehashed it. So I also am fine with that. If we just take the basic premise of it and do something different so we don't just have to hit the same beats, I'm fine with that.
You can't duplicate that cast. That's the big issue. I mean, you've got what's his face?
Adrian Barbeau
and Isaac Hayes and Ernest Borgnine and Donald Pleasance and Lee Van Cleef. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Lee Van
Incredible.
Cleef.
I don't think he lived much longer after he shot that movie either.
Do your Donald Pleasance from this movie, please.
I'm the Duke of New York. A number one.
Thank you. I love that. Okay,
at least it's Lee Whannell.
John Carpenter is executive producing, so
There we go.
Yeah. Doesn't he executive produced every one of his remakes? And it
Yeah.
turns
They
out
could-
he never even goes to set.
they could go the Halloween route and do it with Jamie Lee Curtis, Kurt Russell. Forget that the second one ever happened, and just this one picks up 40 years after the first one.
Oh, sure.
Might be better. At least Kurt
Okay.
Russell. Kurt fucking Russell.
That's right.
The second piece of news: did you guys see the trailer for the Zac Efron Bundy movie that's coming out?
No.
I haven't seen it now.
Have you heard any of the controversy? Because some people are. There's a whole thing. There's a Bundy show on Netflix right now, and there's this
Married
this
with
movie.
children.
Yeah, the Al
Whoa,
Bundy. That they're feeling like you're glorifying a serial killer and things like that. So there's been some controversy as to.
Could you say that about every movie about a serial killer ever made?
I hate
Right?
people.
So, anywho, the news I heard just before I even got this afternoon. Netflix picked up the Zac Efron Bundy movie, so it's not going to go to the theater. It's going to be a Netflix movie. I don't know
That
when.
means we're watching it.
I loved hearing that because that's exactly what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'd watch that on Netflix. I would never pay to go to a theater to see a Ted Bundy movie. But
No.
hey, it's got to be better. Here's the bar: Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. You got to hit that mark.
It's a hard mark to hit.
It sure is.
That's another
But
one of
now
those
it's out there.
movies that is crazy good, and I'm pretty good with not watching it again.
I know it's going to be a long time. It's been a long time. I'm still not ready.
Yeah, I'm good for a while, a good long while.
I watched it a few years ago. It was good to revisit it, but yeah, I'm good for a while.
What's the new
one on
serial
Blu-ray?
killer movie with Matt Dillon? Oh,
Oh, the house that Jack built.
The Lars von Trier movie.
I've been hearing that's really messed up.
I'm looking forward to that one, but it's like 2.5 hours, so it's one of those ones I got to keep planning.
So what I've heard, you have to be a Lars von Trier fan to really like this movie.
What else has he done?
Oh my God, I can't think of the names.
Oh god,
He's done great movies.
but they're always fucked up. What's the one on Netflix? Oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but there's this horrific scene with female genital mutilation that.
Did he do Antichrist?
Yes, thank you. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Doesn't that movie start with full penetration in like the first shot in a shower?
I think so. He doesn't mess around.
No, he makes crazy stuff.
I didn't see that movie, and
He did Nymphomaniac, Europa. Oh my God. What's the one that I
Nymphomaniac.
really
That was
love?
just like a porn, basically.
Totally. Absolute porn. I can't think of the name. The one I really love. Nocturne, maybe it is. Whatever. He's
So
a
anyway.
fucked up dude. His movies are fucked up.
the last piece of news is for Hunter Shea.
Oh, Bigfoot.
As you know, Zombieland 2 coming out.
Nut up or shut up.
Bill Murray is going to come back somehow, and Dan Aykroyd is going to be in it along with him. But that's not the news.
Oh,
The news is the new cast member that has been added, and it is one. You ready?
I'm hoping it is who I think it is.
Rosario Dawson.
I swear to God, in my mind, I thought, give me Salma Hayek or Rosario Dawson. Oh, that was awesome.
Okay,
So there
Hunter
you go.
happy.
that's I was already excited, but I'm happy with this.
Now I'm excited and aroused.
And I saw some notes on the plot, and I guess it's going to start with them. They've holed up in the White House.
Of course. Why not? Eating all the leftover junk food that president serves people.
That's kind of a fun idea, actually. I'm surprised we haven't seen that in another one of these zombie movies. I mean, why not go to the White House?
Shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, just hang out. Kind of like that. Doesn't come
Yeah.
out till later this year, right?
I don't know when it's coming out.
I feel like it's October. All
They
right.
just did, that on social media, they've been doing that 10-year challenge where you post an old picture and a new picture.
Yeah.
They did that with the Zombieland cast in the same poses, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
It was pretty cool. That was like the first movie poster for it. So pretty clever.
So I'm sure Woody
Clever.
Harrelson looks exactly the same because he's
Yeah.
barely aged. Since
Everybody
Cheers.
looks exactly the
Bald
same
and stoned.
except the little girl.
Well, yeah, she's got to grow up. She's a woman now.
But like all the rest of them look exactly the same.
Nice.
Cool.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So that's about it.
Well, I have news. After last week's episode, I bought and read The Leprechaun Who Loved Oral Sex.
God, really?
All right, so new listeners, we apologize off the bat.
I took a break from Jason Brant's Ruined. The break lasted all of 4 minutes to read the book in its entirety. It was as well written as you would think this kind of book would be. A lot of liberal use of commas in places where commas don't need to be. But the basic premise is a woman is out in her yard doing some gardening. A horny leprechaun sees her, starts rubbing himself, and then eventually has oral sex with her. And then, they have other kinds of sex and stuff. And at the very end, I'm going to spoil this because why not? It's only 10 pages. There's a cliffhanger because he walks back into her house with his black leprechaun friend. And all kinds of fun will ensue. But I thought I would just read a quick line. I'm gonna censor myself for you, Jack. Here we go. He kissed her belly button and then took a deep breath and then slid his whole head into her "See you next Tuesday." Kristen screamed. Her pee had never been that full before. It felt like the biggest pee-pee she'd ever had times 3. She could feel everything.
Jesus.
That was clean.
How much did you pay for this book?
More than I should have. I think it was $2.99.
Oh my God.
There's a whole series.
Are you going to leave a review on Amazon?
No. I don't want my name on there. But you know what? For 10 pages, I actually laughed. I both laughed, both. There were more than 2 things. I laughed, cringed, and then just shook my head sadly at just the grammar and punctuation and just the structure. I was like, oh my God.
So let me ask you this. How much of this do you think was designed to titillate versus be humorous?
Ooh, see, I don't know the person who wrote it, so I don't know where they're coming from. It seemed like it was really going for some hardcore erotica there. So I think it was trying to titillate.
With a leprechaun.
With a leprechaun. I might buy there's a book before, Lake Monster Orgy. I might try that one.
Oh, that's right up your alley.
I want to find out how it works.
If you can crack this code, this could be some easy money for you.
Look, if anybody wants me to start a podcast where I sit in front of a fire and just read these books from cover to cover, just let's start a GoFundMe and I'll get this going.
I'm telling you, this is a Patreon exclusive. I can just feel it.
Excellent.
It's coming.
Good luck with that podcast. Let's leave it over there.
Okay. Well, I promised you all I'd read it. There's your review. It's I can't even give it anything. I don't know what to give this thing, but whatever. Go check it out for yourself. All right. Let's stop our nonsense now. We'll get into a little bit of stuff picks. What?
Wait. I just anybody who's a new listener, this all is because we watched Leprechaun Returns last week. So the little context.
Go listen to last week's episode and you'll find out why this happened. And then go find my Bigfoot erotica episode and you're really getting into it.
There you go.
All right. Stat picks time. Pick your nose.
We have such sights to show you.
I kind of like the idea of somebody having never listened to us, having no context, and then just maybe trying to skip into it a little bit and just lands right on that.
Oh my God. Did you say see you next Tuesday? Is there a leprechaun head in there?
Amazing.
They're on the train going to work. I gotta listen to a podcast on my way in.
Yeah, and you know what? They're gonna laugh. It's called entertainment, and maybe it might make them a little excited. I'm hoping.
I'm sure that's what it did.
It's loosely called entertainment.
Yes, very loosely. So, Jason, you're always the big watcher of things, and I didn't see your list this time when I looked at the spreadsheet, so I'm curious to see what you threw on there.
Well, I just updated it, and it's actually a little shorter than usual, so you'll be happy.
That's what she said.
All right. Now, I've never heard that in my life. Okay, so first up, I watched a movie called Mara. Came out
Right.
2018. I'd never really heard of it. Found it on Amazon, a couple of bucks, and thought I'd check it out. And it's basically about a criminal psychologist who is brought in to investigate a murder, and she finds somebody had been strangled to death and their neck broken, and they think it was this guy's wife. And as she starts looking into it, the wife is acting crazy, talking about a sleep demon. And tell me if you've heard this one before. But if you fall asleep, a demonic presence will come and kill you.
Get
Unless
the
you
hell
wake
out
up
of
in
here.
time.
Totally original, the best concept.
That is
I know.
awesome.
Now, if you take that and you make the sleep demon look like Mama from the Mama movie, and that's what you have here. This was not a bad movie. It wasn't. It looked good. It was perfectly serviceable. I think my biggest problem was it just felt like it was copying from everything else. It just didn't feel original. Maybe one I would recommend-ish to check out on Netflix, but $5-6 seemed a little. I'm not here to trash on stuff like this. It was obviously not a big movie, and the demon looked cool. I like the idea of the sleep demon that kills people. It's just seen this a couple times. So
You gave a review that is every director's dream come true. Perfectly serviceable.
perfectly serviceable. Yeah, I don't want to trash it. I mean, whoever made it, there's talent behind it. It was well made. It's just
It was
maybe could have used something a little more original behind it.
a little north of adequate. Speaking of north of adequate, Jack, what'd you watch?
Gentlemen,
Loosely again.
I watched the new Suspiria.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I could not believe you did it. You paid for it too, right?
Well, maybe.
Or did you
maybe
Redbox
not.
it? Oh, okay.
I saw it at a friend's house. And here's the thing.
Long pause. It's dramatic.
I don't know if the version that we saw is the version like if you watch it on HBO or something. There was no subtitles in this movie, and there are several passages of this movie that are not in English.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to watch the movie again with subtitles, or they were speaking English that I just didn't understand what they were saying.
It's like The Witch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What? Is that English?
So that hurt my comprehension a little bit, but I kind of got the gist of what was going on.
Oh God, that's terrible though. Where you're getting a gist for 2.5 hours.
So I saw another I read a review of this, and they said it great. They were like, it's either like the most intelligent dumb movie or the dumbest intelligent movie. And I was like, that's kind of a cool way to put it. They also can say that about the one we're going to watch tonight. Because it's visually astounding. There are great performances in it. I actually really liked Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton as the head of the dance academy. Chloe Grace Moretz is in it.
Isn't Tilda Swinton like playing multiple roles?
Yes, I wanted to get to that. Tilda Swinton plays multiple roles, and one of the roles she plays, to me, I found it very distracting, and I thought it was a mistake. When you watch it, you see what you think. But for me, I thought that there was a weak link in the movie.
Oh, I think I caught a spoiler on that. I think I know who you're talking about.
So I can't wait till you guys see it. And I actually want to see it again because I didn't hate it and I didn't love it. And
well, that you want to take 5 hours out of your life to watch this twice says something.
But just because I want to make sure that it wasn't just me not being the sharpest knife in the drawer and I don't get stuff, or was this movie just convoluted? I think it was convoluted.
How about this? You come into my house, we'll watch Suspiria and Mama, and I'll explain everything to you.
So there's some really cool...
I mean, Mother. I said Mama.
Mother.
Wrong movie.
There's some really cool stuff that happens in it, horror-wise. And then there's some... Like I said, it's convoluted and a little bit distracting, but it's not terrible. But it's just a weird... It's weird, kind of like Mandy weird, but
right.
not as fun as Mandy.
There's no Nick Cage in his underwear. That's why.
But yeah. But again, I think I need to see it a second time to really have an opinion of it. So I'm just kind of like lukewarm on it. Like I thought it was too convoluted, a little bit too much, but it held my interest. And but like I said, I had to go like read afterwards to see what the hell. But that's me. I always have to do that anyway.
Right.
So I read
could
it.
this be a post Monster Men filming day movie to watch together?
It could be. It's long though.
Yeah, that's just 2.5 hours is long.
But maybe if we quit early.
The reviews are coming in hot today. They're glowing like coals. Baby.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row. Like,
I definitely think it's worth watching, and like you may like. I think you could easily just be like, that was the most pretentious, boring pile of crap, or you could be like, oh, it was brilliant. I think everybody's going to react differently to it. But to me, I just was like, well, I thought that ending scene, there's some really weird crap that happens in it that is worth seeing. And then again, like maybe if I watch it with subtitles, I'll be like, oh, that's what they were saying there. Maybe just I don't have good enough speakers on my TV to hear what they were saying. But
don't make excuses for their gobbledygook.
But I got the gist of it. But then like I watch these people like explaining the movie, and I'm like, how the hell did you know all that? I don't think people got that from watching the movie. I think they had to read.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
But I thought, listen, Dakota Johnson, I guess, took like 2 years of dance. There's some amazing choreography things. There's some cool gore stuff in it. So it's almost like the real Suspiria. It's worth watching once in a while just to see the weirdness and everything like that. But I don't think this is not. I don't think any one of us would put this on our top list.
I would love to have such an empty life that I could spend 2 years learning dance just to like dance for probably 4 minutes in a movie.
I mean, I guess there's learning dance if you're going to be in Black Swan, and then there's learning it for this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to make this a triple here. For Christmas, I got a Vinegar Syndrome's release of Witch Trap from 1980. It's either 88 or 89, and it's directed by Kevin Tenney, who directed Witchboard.
Oh, see, when I was getting the links for this, I thought it was Witchboard for a second, which I have seen. I've never seen Witch Trap.
Yes, that Witchboard with Tony Katane and Patch from Days of Our Lives. Pretty solid. It's not going to blow your doors off, but it's a good movie. This, you know how they talk about sometimes like the acting? Well, the acting in that was kind of wooden. This is pretty much concrete. This is some of the most stilted acting you're ever going to see, but in a movie that actually looks pretty well made. Kevin Tenney knew what he was doing. Linnea Quigley is in this, and it's about this guy has this home that I think he wants to turn into a B&B, and there's a ghost that's killing people, and it made this photographer leap to his death. So he's like, ghosts are really popular right now. It'd be great to have a ghost, but maybe have them not kill people when they come in the doors.
That hurts the Yelp reviews.
Definitely, it's terrible. So in comes like a Warren-like couple, though a little younger, and it's weird because this movie starts out with the Lorraine Warren type woman, middle-aged housefrau, like naked in the tub, boobs fully exposed. I'm like, wow, that's an interesting choice. There's no need for that. Yeah, it was weird.
It's like the intro of Thanksgiving.
So they come with their crew, and they bring 2 former cops who are in some private detectives or whatever, because if you're battling a ghost, you need guns. And
Linnea, is that what Winchester taught us?
Yeah. Here's the best thing in this movie. Linnea Quigley is in it. She's the thespian of the group, and her death scene in the shower is the one reason to watch this movie.
Okay,
maybe the
sold.
only reason to watch this movie, and it happens relatively early on. But for pure 80s kitsch and fun, you can even close your eyes and go, "Oh, that's an 80s movie." Like the sound it's all there. It was fine. It just reminded me. My wife and I rented this a bunch of times when we were courting back in the day, so it was cool for that. But you get to see naked Linnea Quigley. You get to see a couple of cool deaths, some gore. Like they keep talking about restored and all its gore. I'm like, there's like, maybe we're so jaded now.
For the Linnea Quigley completist, This is
Oh.
a must see.
It's probably the best death scene she's ever had.
Okay.
And if you get the Vinegar Syndrome, they have interviews with her and Kevin Tenney. There's a bunch of interviews on it. So that was the coolest part, was watching that.
I
Hey, can
love
I-
Vinegar Syndrome, but man, they put out some turds sometimes too.
Oh, they find some weird shit. You gotta be cooking on another planet, like all this stuff.
I have to quickly add another note to the Suspiria.
You didn't say enough.
Here's the thing: 2.5-hour movie. There is a post-credit scene, so
Oh,
stick
to
around
hell
for
with
that.
them.
Just FYI. Go on.
God almighty. All right, Jason, you're up.
Okay, second, I revisited a movie I haven't seen in, I don't know, probably since it came out, called Sunshine, starring Cillian Murphy and Captain America. You guys ever see this? Movie takes place in space.
I never saw it. I wanted to when it came out.
I enjoy the hell out of this movie. It's one of those gems that kind of came and went and nobody saw it. And it's really freaking good. I believe it was Danny Boyle directed it. Yeah, Danny Boyle directed this.
Oh, there you go.
So it starts off as it's basically the end of humanity. The sun is dying, and they're sending a ship with some kind of magical science payload. They're going to send it into the heart of the star and reignite it and save humanity. So they're on this multi-year voyage. And the whole story is basically the crew and the things they run into and yada, yada, yada. And it basically starts off as a science fiction film. And then the last half hour turns into a hardcore horror movie. And it's a pretty sharp shift. There are different parts throughout that kind of hint at different things, but when it takes the left turn, it takes it hard. And it's Danny Boyle. I mean, you can't go wrong with the guy. He's a great director.
Mhm.
The cast is stellar. The science fiction works for me. The horror works for me. And the movie is visually stunning. As they get closer to the sun, and the effects of it on their ship and the kind of shield they've built are just incredible. It's a really solid film. It's one I wish more people knew about. Damn good.
I didn't know that turned into like a horror movie, so I really have to watch this.
I don't think anybody did. I didn't when I first watched it. The last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm like, what the hell is this? This is not the movie that we were watching. But it's solid. It's really damn good. Sunshine.
Awesome. I'm gonna watch it.
I have never seen that.
Jack.
I went to the Spider-Man into the up for an Academy
Uh-oh. See what
Award
happens when you watch
for
Spider-Man?
Jack, we just lost everything you said. I think I heard Spider-Man. Nope, he's still gone.
Who's gone?
You were for a while. You were.
You guys are freezing
Okay, you're back. Go ahead.
back. Okay. So Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse is up for an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature.
Okay.
This movie is tremendous. Flat
Everyone
out,
has said that, and I didn't even know it was coming out till it dropped. I had no idea.
it is tremendous. I loved it. Loved it. It is fun. It is what animation ought to be. There are the multiverse aspect of this. Each character from each different universe, whatever, is basically drawn differently because they're from different like comic books or whatever. So there are a variety of art styles coming together. It's spectacular. The characters
It looks really cool.
It looks amazing. The story's great. The guy from New Girl who was in the Mummy movie, he's one of the Spider-Mans. He was perfectly cast. Nicolas Cage is one of the Spider-Mans. He's a noir Spider-Man from like the 30s kind of thing. He's awesome in it. John Mulaney, the comedian, is Spider-Ham.
Straight smarts.
He's tremendous. The whole thing is I loved it. I absolutely loved it. If you grew up with Spider-Man, this is made for you because you can appreciate it. There's nods to all the different Spider-Man incarnations, but the story is so good. There are times where the animation looks like you're watching real people, and then other times it's just like out of control colors. The music is great. I heard it was good, and now a friend of mine who's not a dyed in the wool comic book all your life fan like me, genre person, she thought it was okay. She liked it. She thought it could have been a little short or whatever. So maybe a normie. But I know lots of people who are normies that are seeing this movie and are loving it. But for somebody who is a genre fan, you can't go wrong with this movie. And it is nothing like you've seen before in an animated or in a superhero movie. It's just delightful. I loved it.
Hey, when it comes to the library, I am definitely going to borrow it.
So
No, seriously, I do want to see it, but I just
Sony put out a good movie. That is mind-boggling to me.
yeah, really.
They should stick to animation because
Kind of like how DC should stick to animation.
Yeah.
Entirely.
I honestly did not know this was coming out. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia. It had a $90 million budget. That is crazy.
For a cartoon.
Oh, it took forever to make. Like every minute of that movie took like a week to make or something like that.
Well, they were probably trying to make America great again, so they did the animating here. Cost more money.
Ah, good call.
MAGA.
Terrible joke.
MAGA. All right, that sounds cool. Like, I'm serious. I do want to see the movie. I watched a series which kind of straddles the horror line, but whatever. It was really cool. It is Homecoming on Amazon, starring Miss Julia Roberts.
That straddles the horror line? Really? I didn't know that.
There are elements of it. There's dark suspense in it. Kind of what they're doing could be horror. Look, it's not blood and gore and stuff. And for many episodes, you don't know where the hell this thing is going. But they're 24 minutes a piece, 10 episodes, all directed by the same guy, Sam Esmail or something like that, Esmail, which is cool because there's consistency in all the episodes that way. Julia Roberts is excellent. And I'm going to give her credit for letting herself be filmed to look as homely as you can possibly make a human being. Who was once Pretty Woman. You know what I mean? But she's playing like a psychologist who's working in this place called Homecoming, where they take war veterans who have some PTSD, and their job is to get them to acclimate and get back into society. But of course, that's really not what's going on there. And it's just trying to unravel the mystery. It's going with her in the present now, where she's working as a waitress, living with her mom, Sissy Spacek, and then going back 5 years past and everything that went on. Here is where the horror fan will get a huge boner.
Huge.
Every episode uses soundtracks from movies from the 60s, 70s, 80s, like Vertigo, The Andromeda Strain, All the President's Men. Episode 7 is the John Carpenter episode. So they use music from Halloween 3, Christine, The Fog, and The Thing.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they bring back, like the first time I heard the Halloween 3, like, Choo! I'm like, what the hell, Halloween 3? And then they bring back the next episode, 8. They use a lot of The Fog and Halloween 3 again, and Christine. So like those two episodes, you're like living in this John Carpenter world. The camera work in this is maybe the best I've ever seen on a TV show, and maybe it's close in the movie. They do stuff with just her walking out of a building that looks like an Escher painting. And Jason, you'll flip the fuck out when you see what they do in some of these episodes.
Really? I had no interest in watching this. You're selling me on it though.
Yeah. If you want, it's a really good story. Look, it gets a little slow sometimes, but you're so invested in it. And you're just, if you don't like the story, you can watch the technical aspect of how this was executed and be blown away.
I noticed you used an Escher reference there. So
yes,
is that because you've watched Velvet Buzzsaw and you've become an art snob now?
Maybe. I'll have to put on my art glasses later for that.
I see.
But
each one's only
really
like
good.
30 minutes. That's no big deal.
No, and I'm saying it's like, it's technically they're like 20 something when they're all said and done.
Okay.
You can just chew those suckers up. You'll love it. You will love it.
Okay. I'm in.
All right. So what are you watching now?
I just have a book I listen to, which does not straddle the horror line, but I wanted to mention it because you said Rosario Dawson earlier, Jack. I listened to an audiobook that she narrated. Artemis, written by Andy Weir, who everyone knows from The Martian, which I don't know if we were doing the show when I listened to The Martian. It's maybe the best audiobook I've ever heard. It's just unbelievable.
The Martian, like the Matt Damon Martian?
Yes.
Yeah.
That movie's based on this book. So Andy Weir, this is his second book. Artemis takes place on the moon. I'll just say it's not The Martian. It's not as good as The Martian.
Can't be.
Her narration is incredible. I mean, she kills it. She's doing multiple voices, but multiple accents. She's doing African accents. She's doing Eastern European accents, male and female. I mean, she just smashes this book. And when it started, I was like, oh, I don't really know if I'm liking her narration. And she just kicks into high gear, maybe chapter 2 or something, and it is just off to the races. She is amazing.
I'd be straight hands in pockets.
Well, you can be if you listen to Artemis on Audible.
Artemis, I just think of Artemis from It's Always Sunny.
That's what I was thinking.
So that's it. That's all I watched and read this week.
Oh,
Slowly.
What about you, Jack?
That's all I got.
All right, I got a quick one. It's a read. I actually read. I didn't listen. I bought this at Chiller Theater. Who Goes There?
Oh,
which is the story.
Is that what the Jan and Peter Brady? When Jan said "hark" before Peter said "Who goes there"?
Hark! Who goes there? It's the story that John W. Campbell Jr. wrote that The Thing is based on. It's a short. It's like 70 pages long.
Really?
And the book takes place. The Thing is already in the base camp, and it's true. John Carpenter's version is truer to the story than The Thing from Another World with James Arness, which kind of shocked me.
Kind of blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. There's a lot more characters. It's 70 pages long, and there's like 27 people or something in this book. But McCready is in it. Norris is in it, but McCready isn't the helicopter pilot.
Does he have the hat?
He doesn't have the hat. He's got the beard. This is written
whiskey?
No, this is written in the 30s. So the dialogue is so weird. It's no way that anybody on Earth in any given time would talk.
I don't want to spend the rest of my life on this blasted couch.
Yeah, you don't get that stuff. You get the essence of what the thing is and what makes it so scary. And to have written this in the 30s is just mind-blowing.
You got to be pulling my leg.
But yeah, the prose and the dialogue it's rough. Like I was praying that this would end soon.
Is the thing like the thing in the movie where it morphs and stuff?
So it's morphing with the dogs and with the people, and they're trying to figure out who. Like it's Carpenter took the book and made the movie, just lopped off a bunch of characters and made it cooler.
I'm stealing that when I come over.
And the end is really good. It's a
so
cool end.
I'm a little conflicted here because I'm seeing it's only $2.23 on Kindle right now, but you're telling me it's not very good.
But I think if you love the thing, you got to read it.
So I should buy it?
Yeah, it won't take you long to read it. You'll see the prose. You're like, what the hell?
I bought it. If not, you owe me $2.23.
Look, you bought that. You bought a classic. I bought The Leprechaun Who Likes Oral Sex. So we're fine.
You have better taste than I do.
Is that insinuating that there's only one leprechaun that likes that kind of thing?
Well, no, there's two now that we know because he brought in the other dude. She's going all BBC.
It's like the guy who likes hamburgers. Every guy likes hamburgers.
So the sequel's just The Leprechaun Train or something?
The Nessie Who Likes Frottage. Okay, why don't we get into the main feature tonight, which is going to be as weird as this conversation. So let's go dive into Velvet Buzzsaw.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Okay, so I put on my art glasses so I can properly talk about this movie. If
you
you're
look
listening
like
to
Jerry
this episode,
Seinfeld with the gum.
Look like George Romero.
Yeah, these are my dad's glasses. I'm having a hard time actually seeing. But I feel like I can discuss an artsy movie wearing these glasses because I feel I
get my glasses in my shoes.
I'm just gonna put my hand on my chin like this the entire time, and we're gonna talk art.
Diabetes is affecting your eyes again.
My diabetes, got my beats eyes. So, Jack, do you want to attempt to synopsize this movie? I know you said you didn't know what it was about, and I can't help you.
And I kind of nodded. I was fighting off. I had to rewind it because I actually fell asleep for a second in the most exciting part of the movie. That's how tired I was.
The end credits?
What the hell is this movie about? It's the LA art scene, and there's a bunch of unlikable people who deal art and make money off of art. And one of them lives in a building where a guy dies, and she discovers all these paintings in his apartment that are breathtaking.
Oh, quite.
And the instructions are to destroy all the paintings, but she steals them. And everybody loves these paintings. So her and Jake Gyllenhaal and Rene Russo and some other people all start to get their mitts on these things and start to sell and make money off of these paintings. But
big butt.
The guy who painted them had a disturbing past and used human blood as some of his paints.
Which is
very
not
not Bob Ross. There are no happy little trees. There were sad trees.
A lot of sad. Those paintings were vicious.
And the paintings end up like a Tales from the Dark Side episode. The paintings kill you, or they affect other art nearby, and the other art kills you.
Yes, just ask Toni Collette.
And I think that's a synopsis. That's the best.
That's really good enough. Jason, wait, first of all, whose fucking idea was this movie?
Jack.
You guys,
right. I was on board.
Shut up and listen. You guys want to do a podcast where we review frickin' movies. We go pay to see stupid movies that you guys want to see all the time. It's our freaking job to watch this crap.
I was on board. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. He's not in a position to make a bad movie. That was my philosophy.
If you're president of the country, don't complain that you got to wear a tie.
Oh my God. So
having said that,
yeah, we're kicking you in the balls when we see you.
I loved it. I'm kidding. I couldn't.
It's like, no way.
I don't know anything about the art scene, obviously. So I don't know how effective this is as a kind of send up of the art scene. I don't know how accurate it is in making fun of it, but I will say that it's more entertaining when it's making fun of the art scene than it is as a horror movie. As a horror movie, this is as flat a movie as I think we've watched on here. It's just the scares are non-existent. There's no tension. There's not, and I like the idea of paintings coming to life or haunted mirror movies. I really like that subgenre. This did nothing for me in that regard at all.
Look, if you ever wanted to see a painting of grease monkeys come to life, this is your movie.
Yeah, I didn't really. We'll have to get into. I don't even know if that's reserved for spoilers, but I didn't understand the rules of this film at all. So I did laugh a few times when they were making fun of the kind of the art world and just how preposterous these people were. There was a few things in there that I liked. I don't know if they're accurate. I have no idea, but they were funny. But man, as a whole, I was struggling through this one.
Jack, what about your whole?
Well, on the plus side, I thought the performances of the cast were very good. Jake Gyllenhaal is tremendous. He throws himself into this role, and he's spectacular in it. And
he's committed.
He's committed, and he's great. He really he embodies that character. Great job. When you look at him in Nightcrawler, he's playing a different character, but he has transformed himself just as much in this. It's just he's probably the only thing that made me laugh in the movie.
Oh, what about John Malkovich? I would laugh just when I saw him. You didn't have to
I kept waiting for him to say, "Make the apocalypse great again." Toni Collette's good. Rene Russo's good. So they're the good cast. So I'm watching this, and I know that it's a satirical look at the art world, but I'm not really laughing a whole lot. So as a comedy, it's not really hitting for me. Then as a horror movie, I thought some of the stuff was visually interesting, but it took a long time to get to it.
Mhm.
And then when you did see it, again, it felt kind of like a Black Mirror, Tales from the Dark Side level, you know,
Remake of Outer Limits.
yeah, like that
Don't-
kind of thing. Like,
Don't even give it Twilight Zone, or Tales from the Dark Side. It wasn't that good.
right, but it's that kind of gimmick, you know.
Yeah.
It felt more or less just like a horror, like an anthology, like a chapter in an anthology. Like, oh, this is the one where Art kills people. Like it should have been a 30-minute thing,
Right.
But so yeah, it's a little flat for me.
This movie had so many tonal shifts. It actually was making me nauseous at one time. The whole time watching, I don't know whether this is, like you said, Jason. I don't know if this is a spoof or a send up, or is this an homage? Is this really what goes on? And I just thought back to like when I was in high school. I had a choice. I was going to go to the Rhode Island School of Design for art, and I'm going, man, I'm so glad I write. I could not exist in this world. What a bunch of ass bags.
Yep.
You know, pretentious ass bags, catty. So I thought, to me, this would have been I would really like this movie if you took the horror out of it. If you gave me a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, like,
it would have been a
critiquing
better
the art
movie.
world, oh my God. You take out the horror, you beef up John Malkovich, who just kind of comes and goes as the wind blows. I thought I would think this movie would be great, but yeah, the horror aspect was just, as Archie Bunker would say.
If they cut out the horror and they punched up the satire, the humor, I've read reviews where people are, oh, it's so funny. Maybe we're the wrong crowd for it.
I guess you got to be an
You
artsy-fartsy.
could have taken this a Get Shorty route. If you get rid of the horror and you bring in a guy who's completely outside of this world, who's just looking at these people as how insane they are and is just taking advantage of them and crashing the world in a Get Shorty style, this might have been a better movie. But the horror part is just...
it would be cool if the girl who found the paintings, it actually maybe like some dude she slept with found the paintings. And he makes bagels.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's dealing with these people and he just cannot believe they're real.
The closest thing to an outsider that they had was the girl from Stranger Things, who was the secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, that was her. I couldn't remember. I couldn't figure out who that was.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was with that character? They did not. Her arc was zero.
She just kept finding the bodies, right?
Yeah, there's her arc was something outside of her control that didn't.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, they wasted her.
But yeah, the cast was incredible. And John Malkovich, as little as he's in it, is one of only two likable characters in the entire movie. It's he and the other artist. So I don't know. I need to look up who wrote this, but they clearly are fine with artists and absolutely hate art critics. Okay, so the writer and director is Dan Gilroy. Sorry. So the artists in this are fine. They're good people. They might be struggling. They're whatever.
They're just doing their thing.
It's everyone around them who are the vultures and who are the crazies.
Which kind of, I guess, is right.
And I can accept the non-likable group of characters because that's what they are. That the people in that world are pretentious and all that other stuff. But again, give it a Get Shorty dialogue run. Like Jake Gyllenhaal was great. He was
he was so good.
What does he say? Corn silk or something that has a great color on you or something like that.
Yeah.
He would say things like that, or like he said something about a coffin at one point.
Would you want to be buried in that forever or something?
Yeah, like he had great dialogue, and it was just coming out naturally from him. Toni Collette kind of like also.
What'd you think of her wig, by the way?
I loved it.
That was some wig.
Beautiful bangs.
Ripped right off Andy Warhol's corpse.
Now the thing I'll wait for spoilers for that.
Really?
Never mind. Yeah.
Well, I did want to say,
have to call spoilers.
Probably somebody might like this. I don't know.
Let's call spoilers as soon as you're.
Okay, I did want to say it was really nice to see Renee Russo. We don't get to see her too much anymore, and I'd actually just watched a movie with her 2 days ago. I rewatched the Thomas Crown Affair, and I freaking love that movie, and I love her in it. So anytime I get to see her, I'm happy. And I thought she actually was really good in it, and her character actually had a little bit of an arc. Only basically she and Gyllenhaal seem to have at least arcs I cared about, I should say. Some of them had other ones where they became more assholes or whatever, but I loved her kind of tough guy character, tough girl character, tough woman character, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Tough woman.
Tough woman.
Me too.
And she's great as always. It's just, everything around it was not really making me
seeing
happy.
her made me realize how much I miss her.
She's such a good actress. Yeah,
she's solid.
Yep.
So Jack, should we call spoilers now?
Let's call spoilers.
We can deconstruct it like we deconstruct art. So this is art. The movie is art. We're going to now tear apart the art.
Sounds like you're doing your best Tommy Wiseau. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So how's your sex life?
Okay, so you know that big silver sphere thing
sphere
that Toni Collette sticks her hand in and it gets cut off, and then that's actually a pretty cool part. Is that was actually where that's where I was dozing off. That I was like, I gotta rewind. This is like the best part of the movie.
I like how the blood came out of the other holes.
Yeah, and then in the morning the kids are like playing in it because they all think it's part of the attraction.
It's an art installation.
But when I saw that, Hunter, you could appreciate this probably. All I could think of was that Flash Gordon thing where they had to stick their hands in the.
Oh my god! I didn't even think of that. That was. I like laughing at what these people considered high art worth millions of dollars.
That's the stuff I thought worked well. Exactly.
But
like when the guy's meeting with John Malkovich and he stops at the pile of trash and he's like, "This is incredible." Malkovich is like, "This is not art." That was great.
Yeah, that's the movie I wanted to see.
Yeah,
along the lines of what Jason was saying, I was going, wait a minute, these guys' paintings are the things that kills people. Then it was like other art was also killing people.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the rule there? Is it proximity now? Is it the greedy person gets under a spell and then it carries over? Like that was really gray.
When it even opened the wall with the graffiti on it and turned it into an art museum or a art exhibit for her to walk into and get killed in. So they didn't really get all that. I wasn't sure what was happening.
There were no rules. But maybe that was the point, because there are no rules in art. So they were going to do an art movie with no art rules.
It was really those magic eye paintings. Focus.
Take off all my clothes while I take a shit to stare at the thing.
So yeah, that was my biggest issue with it, was all the horror stuff. That was the biggest drag for me. And that's what I was, at the beginning of the movie, I kept thinking, when the hell is the horror stuff going to get here? And then when the horror stuff got there, I was like, can we go back to the beginning of the movie?
There was a point, like it's 25 minutes before there's even a hint of anything possibly horror. And as I'm sitting there going, oh, I hope there's no horror in this. And Jack misread it. And we're just going to watch an art movie. And then it came, and you're right. Then when the horror came, I was like, oh. Although I thought there was when the woman is in her apartment building and first finds the painter dead. Like every time she was in that hallway, it was kind of creepy. The music changed, tone, everything. There was some tension in that. But
I liked when the paintings would move. Like they had something there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that concept. King has dabbled in it, haunted paintings, haunted mirrors, whatever. That's such a neat concept. It's just, there's just no tension in it for me, except I did like everything kind of around that guy's apartment, which only lasted for about 2 minutes. But when she went in there and she saw how screwed up all the artwork was, and he was burning stuff, and he'd been living in basically the squalor of his art, and I thought that was cool. And then they just never went in there again.
Which that's a real thing.
Oh,
I had a great uncle who was an artist, and that's pretty much the way his apartment looked when he was dead and we had to go in there. I was like, Jesus.
They didn't explain that guy's backstory very well either.
No, I didn't follow that worth of shit.
Oh, I was like, what?
It seemed like they were trying to go the route of, I don't know, The Ring, where you find out, why is this haunted? How did, his soul get infused? And they kind of hinted with the blood and stuff, and
then it just gave up.
His childhood, and then it just kind of, it filtered out.
Yeah.
It's weird to see the three of us wanted to watch this movie without any horror in it.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
That says something.
Even the kills didn't do anything for me. Even the Velvet Buzzsaw kill, the tattoo kill, it started, I'm like, oh, this could be cool, and then they just cut away. So
It was like
You
2 seconds worth.
Yeah, you didn't see anything, so it was like,
I actually think you could make a better horror movie if you didn't have the stellar cast, and maybe you had a lower level group of people and really focused in on the art horror stuff and got to it faster and did more with the painting stuff and the painting with blood and everything like that. Really cool. If you went kind of like a Insidious 7 kind of feel with this thing, and
completely agree.
But that's the thing. They were going for this other completely different kind of light tone.
yeah, so that didn't fit with the horror stuff. And then when the horror did happen, it was just kind of like, oh, they're getting like a tie-dye.
Yeah. I actually want to see these two movies completely separated. And I feel like each one of them would be better off for it. Because at no point was I like, this is an incompetent film. It wasn't, I wasn't seeing boom mics and, the acting was great. It's just...
Hit guys in the head.
It just never connected with me. Yeah, exactly. It just never quite worked. And like the android thing, I was watching that thinking, am I supposed to be getting something from this? Is this supposed to symbolize something?
That part, do you mean the robot?
Yeah, when I say android, the robot. Yeah, the animatronic. How's that?
I thought that if that was real, that was pretty awesome.
I don't think it was. I think it was just a guy.
It looked like
CG
Better
folks.
Call Saul.
Yeah, I thought there'd be more with him other than he comes back later in like a weird kind of fever dream.
I didn't really
Well, he kills Jake Gyllenhaal.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, in the warehouse thing, or that's right.
That's another, like, it wasn't a painting that got him, it was the robot. And
But was it? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand the rules
movie.
of this. I don't get it.
Yeah. The sphere killing was my favorite one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was some decent imagery in that with the blood spray and stuff. And what I really loved the most was, I think you said it, Jack, the aftermath when everyone thinks it's part of the exhibit.
Yeah, that was probably the funniest part of the whole movie.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. But
I did like Malkovich at the end, the credits,
making circles in the sand.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Oh, that's what I wanted to say for Chris. I'm glad you brought that back up. The two people who aren't killed are both the artists. And they were both the most normal people in it. Everyone else was killed. Just the artists.
And the Stranger Things girl.
And the Stranger Things girl, yeah.
Right, because she wasn't profiting off this stuff. That's why, I guess.
Why was the profiting? Why was that where the paintings drew the line?
I don't know. It just means that I guess the art was just supposed to be there and then be destroyed. And now you're making money off it and giving it exposure.
But maybe that's the line of where art becomes business. The question is, at the end, with the guy selling the paintings on the street, is he going to get it?
I sold that shit for $5. That's fine.
That's a great question. So is it going to kill homeless guys now?
Nothing can make his life much worse anyway, so it's fine. He's homeless selling paintings.
Can the dogs playing poker kill you?
No, but monkeys working on a car can.
Yeah, seriously.
No more monkeys jumping on the bed.
Yeah, how could that beautiful painting be left on the wall after that place had been abandoned? You're just going to leave that? You must have paid dozens of cents for that.
Dozens of cents.
Dozens of cents.
That's right.
The other cardinal sin of this movie is it's almost 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's too long. And I think that's because it's two movies in one. If you cut out one or the other, you can time this a little better.
Yeah.
And you've got a top-notch cast, so they wanted to get as much as they could out of them.
Yep.
Now, the girl who found the art, where the hell is she from? She's so familiar. I kept going, is she like a Black Mirror? Was she on Sherlock?
I didn't know.
Doctor Who?
But, my wife said she really reminded her of the new Mary Jane in the Spider-Man movies. And that kind of clicked for me, kind of like an older sister or something. She kind of looked like her.
Yeah, she resembled her, but it wasn't her.
Yeah, it wasn't her, but kind of like some kind of relation. That's the best I could come up with.
I thought she was cool because she was sympathetic in the beginning, and boy.
Yeah, she had an arc too. It just wasn't one I liked.
No, yeah, exactly. I hope she dies soon.
I should mention too, I thought the artwork they found in the apartment was cool. It wasn't crazy over the top tentacle, dismemberment stuff, but it was just creepy and weird.
Just offsetting.
Yeah. So
it wasn't paint by
that.
Numbers.
Yeah.
That's probably where the budget went.
I think I saw the cover from Dover Demon in the
that cover is smoking.
It's awesome.
That could have been on there.
She'd walked in there and seen the cover for Swamp Monster Massacre, she would have run to the hills.
Woo!
Too
Or
scary.
she would have said, "Oh my god, I hope that guy reads erotica."
That's the worst way I've managed to worm Swamp Monster Massacre into the show yet, but I had to
It's all
get
right.
it in.
You got it in there, right under the wire. So I think we can pretty much say these are 3 thumbs down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it a thumbs down.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna bury this sucker. Please don't listen to this episode, people. It's too late. You've already listened to it.
No one's listened beyond the reading of the one sentence.
All right. So next week we have decided, because next week is going to be Valentine's Day, and we're giving you a little Valentine because we love you so much. We are going to do a comparison of the 2 versions of My Bloody Valentine. That's right, 1981's version, and I think the other one's 2009, 2008, whatever. So we're going to dive deep into the mind.
Double
and the
feature.
mind. Double D feature. So stay tuned next week, and between now and then, if you could, Uncle Hunter requests, just go and put a review somewhere, iTunes. I don't care where. Put it on your mother's back porch. I just want to know there's a review out there for us. Okay. So kids,
share the link on Twitter.
Something. So kids, you kids want to say goodbye?
Goodbye and good art.
Rene Russo for life.
Boy.